Okay, this is the InMotion IM7 set of amplifier and speakers from Alltech Lansing. They're quite difficult to take apart, and so I thought I'd do a video on how to do it. However, there is a problem, and that is you're going to have to break the plastic in this unit if you are going to take it apart, because the manufacturers seal it with glue beforehand. Now the problem here is that this panel up here, this plastic panel, will not be as securely held down as it was before if you carry out this operation. The good news is though that what we're going to do, the bit we're going to break, is inside here, and it's covered up by a rubberized moulding which will help us to hide what we're about to do. The things you'll need for this are a Phillips screwdriver or crosshead screwdriver, and something, I hate to say this, which is going to act as a chisel. I use a soft hammer like this and a screwdriver. Okay, so what we need to do first is turn the unit upside down, remove the battery panels like that, and then undo the next 5 screws. Wrong, 8 screws, what am I talking about? 8. And we remove that panel. We now see there are 2 screws here which allow you to rotate and remove the end panels. You just have to loosen them off, you don't have to undo them. What you do is very firmly rotate it and remove it. Okay, you do the same with the other end. Rotate and remove. Interestingly, this speaker is an active speaker. You can see the wires there that connect it to the electromagnet, and here is a passive speaker. It simply reacts to the one at the other end, which is an interesting design. Okay, the next thing we can do is to remove this plastic moulding or rubberized moulding, and there are a couple of other bits we can move. We can get rid of this. There are some screws inside here, 2 screws there. There are an awful lot of screws in this. And there are 2 deep down in here. You would imagine that this would enable you to get this white panel off, but it is not going to be that easy, unfortunately. Okay, now that we've done that, we can loosen this panel here, and you can see that I've managed to break the plastic on that. I'll explain how we do that later. Okay, so you can remove the these little panels. These are very springy metal covers. They're quite tricky to remove, but you will need to do that. So I'll be leaving that in place for now to simulate having the panel in there. Okay, and that leaves us with some more screws. We've got 6 more screws here holding it together. I can see that the YouTube is coming up to 5 minutes. We might need to swap recordings in a second. sure how long these recordings are allowed to be. Okay, so we can get rid of that. Again, putting that on there. Now, to get rid of this, what I did was removed this rubberized panel inside here. And this is a bit of a ripping operation. It's easy for me because the glue's been removed. I've done it before. And inside here you will find a piece of plastic. It's easy to show you now mine's removed, but this piece of plastic is glued into here. And what you have to do in order to break this, and I'm sorry to have to show you something so brutal, but you have to use a hammer and some sort of chisel to break the plastic all the way along the ridge in there. Okay, so that you end up with this break. Okay, once you've done that, you can then remove this panel. Then that exposes two more Phillips screws. Okay. And now we are almost ready to take this apart. One of the problems we face though is that this springy panel, this speaker grill, is actually holding on to the two halves. The way this works is that this piece of plastic will separate from this and this plastic here. This is one moulding that sits at the end and holds the speaker, and this is the rear of the unit. This whole lot will come apart, but is being held by the by this plastic bit here. Very, very difficult to prise off, so you've got to kind of undo everything all at the same time. So you can see now we've got the we've removed the speaker grill off these this front moulding here. I say front actually, I guess it's the back one, isn't it? But now we should be able to pull the halves apart like this. And it comes apart. And there you have the insides of the unit. Well, I hope that is useful for you. It took me a long time to work out how to do it.